Good morning guys, it's Monday and today I'm starting a brand new series on my channel. It's going to be like a get ready with me kind of series. I know a lot of you guys over on Instagram that I was chatting with the other day were saying that you'd like to see some more of me trying out products and doing wear tests, so I thought that's something that I could definitely do on the days when I'm not doing my regular filming, which is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So the other 3 days of the week, I'm gonna just basically sit down. Since I'm doing my makeup anyway, I figured why not just take you along and film it, and then I can, show you guys what I'm using every day. And I'm really trying to make more of an effort to do my makeup every day, even if I'm not really going anywhere. I want to use up products, and I also want to make sure I'm thoroughly testing new products. A lot of times I feel like I just don't have time to do that, and a lot of days I just don't bother with makeup, but I want to change that and make sure that I'm using up my old stuff and testing out new stuff. So the series is going to be a mix of both of those things, and I will apply my makeup in the morning and then do a couple of check-ins and with you throughout the day and let you know how everything applied and wore. So I hope you guys like this idea, and let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so here's the makeup that I chose for Monday, and it's basically very simple. I'm not using eyeliners or highlighter, bronzer, any of that stuff. It's just a very simple, easy makeup look because on Mondays, I'm generally just cleaning the house and running a few errands, going to the grocery store and things like that. So I just like to keep things very fresh-faced and natural. So first, I'm using the Urban Decay Original Naked Palette. I had taken this out recently when I was swatching it next to the new Winky Lux Coffee palette, just to do a comparison on Instagram, and I forgot how much I love this palette, so I wanted to use that one today, as well as the Balm's Down Boy for blush. I think this is the most beautiful cool tone pink. And then I'm also trying out the new Maybelline Total Temptation Waterproof. I really liked the original and what it did for my lashes, but it smudged all underneath my eyes, so I'm hoping that the waterproof version doesn't do that and that I still like the formula as much. So I will check in with you guys later and let you know how that worked out. And then for foundation, I've been loving the Neutrogena Healthy Skin liquid makeup, as well as their Healthy Skin Brightening Eye Perfector. This really isn't a concealer in the sense that it doesn't hide a lot. It really just helps to brighten up the under eye area. But again, I'm not going for heavy coverage today. And this makeup sits so beautifully on my dry skin. It doesn't cling to dry patches. It doesn't accentuate texture. It has a really, really natural skin finish, which I love. Again, it's sort of like a light to medium coverage. And then lastly, I've been really into this Revlon Photo Ready Pore Reducing Primer. This looks pretty much exactly like the original pink primer that they had, but I noticed one day that they had a couple of different versions if you look really closely. And this pore reducing one actually kind of reminds me of the Touch in Sol No Pore Blum primer. So I'm thinking it might be a dupe. I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit more. But anyway, that's my makeup look for Monday. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply everything. So first I'm going to go ahead and apply the Revlon Pore Reducing Primer. I really like this formula. I think it smooths out fine lines, pores, and texture on my skin really well, all while still being lightweight. It just gives a really beautiful airbrushed finish, which I love. And then next I'm going to go in with the Neutrogena Healthy Skin Foundation. One thing I don't like about this is that it doesn't have a pump, so you tend to pour out too much. I wish they would change that about it. But I'm going ahead and applying it with a damp beauty blender. I love the finish on this one. I think if you have dry skin, you should definitely check it out. It just has a beautiful seamless finish, and it feels like it goes into your skin rather than sitting on top, which is something that I definitely appreciate. It has just, again, a really natural finish. There's no shimmer or glitter particles in it at all, so it's not going to enhance any kind of texture that you have on your face, and I don't find that it sinks into fine lines or pores either. And just like the foundation, I think that the Healthy Skin Concealer is also extremely lightweight. It doesn't sink into fine lines or pores. It just has a really beautiful skin-like finish, and it's not the highest coverage. It's not really supposed to be a concealer. I think it's more of an under-eye brightener, but it does hide a little bit of darkness. I also use it around my nose and on top of my nose as well, just to camouflage some of the redness, and I think it does a pretty good job. So if you don't have a lot of things to hide, I think this is a really great option, especially for drier or more mature skin types.
And then next up is the Balm's Down Boy Blush. I absolutely love this cool tone pink. I used to reach for this a lot more, and then I kind of started getting into warmer, peachier tone blushes, but I just think this complements my skin tone really, really well, and I love how easily it blends. I think the Balm has a really amazing blush formula. And for some reason, I totally forgot to mention eyebrow pencil when I was showing you what I picked out. So I'm using the Soap & Glory 2-in-1 Archery brow pencil and gel. This has a brow pencil on one end and a tinted gel on the other. So I just love the ease and convenience of it. And I think it fills in my brows really easily. And the gel is a really strong hold, so I find that it lasts me all day. Next, I'm going in with a flat shader brush and applying the shade Virgin all over my lids. This just helps to set the base for my eyeshadow. And then next, I'm going in with a crease brush and grabbing the shade Naked, which is a beautiful matte transition shade, especially if you have a fair to light skin tone. It really isn't too harsh, so I really love that. It's just like a shade or two darker than my natural skin tone. Next, I'm using a really tiny crease brush to apply the shade Buck to my crease area. I love these tiny little crease brushes, which I will leave in the description bar below, because they really help to put the eyeshadow exactly where I want it. And when you have hooded eyes and you don't have a lot of lid space, the smaller brush just really helps with that. And then I just take a fluffier brush and blend out the line. And then last but not least, I'm taking the really shimmery light nude shade Sin and applying that to my eyelid. When you have hooded eyes, it's really important to use lighter colors on your lid to help bring them forward a little bit instead of receding. I ended up using my finger for this one a little bit because it just applied better than it did with the brush. I was able to get a little bit more pigment out of it. And then next I'm applying the Maybelline Total Temptation mascara in the waterproof version to my lashes. And I don't know if it's just me, but this formula feels even drier than the original. And I thought the original had a pretty dry formula, but I do like that it's not clumpy at all. And it does add a really good deal of volume and length to my lashes. So I'm hoping that this one won't smudge under my eyes like the original did. And then last but not least, I'm applying the Bite Beauty Agave lip mask in the shade Maple to my lips. And I just like to use a tinted lip balm most days when I'm not filming. And this one is so moisturizing and so hydrating, and it has a beautiful nude color to it. So I absolutely love it. And it smells like maple syrup. So here's a finished look, and it's nothing too dramatic or too crazy. It's just a super natural, everyday look, but this is my typical go-to. So I'm definitely happy with the way that this turned out so far, and I'll let you guys know throughout the day how the products are wearing.
Okay, so I just wanted to come outside and check on my foundation. It's been about 4 hours since I applied it, and so far it's looking nice. If you saw my Flower Beauty video about their Light Illusion foundation, you remember that it looked a lot different in natural lighting than it did inside. And in this case, this one looks pretty good. Sorry, it's really bright out here. So it's not sitting on my skin in an unnatural way. There's no shimmer or shine to it, so it's not accentuating texture. And so far everything's still covered. My nose is covered. There's no redness peeking through. Also, I think my eyeshadow is holding up pretty well. So I'll do another check-in at 8 hours and I will see you then. All right guys, so this is my final check-in. It's been about 8 hours since I applied my makeup, and I think the foundation held up pretty well, all things considered. I didn't set it with anything, which I usually don't if I'm just gonna be home or running errands. I don't really care like if it wears off throughout the day. I do see a little bit of pink peeking through my nose area. That happens with most foundations though, especially if I don't set them. My blush still looks really good, which I figured it would because the Balm's powder blushes are so long lasting, and even though they're expensive, that makes them worth the money in my opinion. I think that the eyeshadow lasted okay. It's faded somewhat, but it didn't crease on me, and I also didn't use a primer, so I think if I had used a primer it would look even better right now. What else? The lip balm I did have to reapply throughout the day, like with most lip balms, and then the mascara did just start to smudge around my eyes maybe in the last hour or so, but it held up pretty well considering the original non-waterproof version smudged on me in about an hour. So I think it did a pretty good job, especially since all day I felt like I had something stuck in my contact lens, and I actually had to take it out at one point and rinse it off and then put it back in, and then I was outside with no sunglasses. It was bright and my eyes were tearing up a little bit, and it still doesn't look bad. So I think that everything held up pretty well, all things considered, especially since I wasn't going for longevity today. I was just trying to do a really simple, easy, natural look, and I was just going to be home. So anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. I would love to hear from you in the comments about what you'd like to see next and what you'd like me to try out in future videos, whether it's new stuff or old stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.